I'm pretty sure it's in the book, and I just forgot I wrote it. It's probably what happened. Probably, you know what? I probably wrote down their ages like in chapter 2 or something, and don't even remember writing it. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Hi guys. This is Desiree. Basically, I am here for a pretty specific reason. Look at them! Look at them! I was so excited they got here. I finally got hard copies of my first independent release, A Break from Normal. It's the one half of the release, the Sugar and Spice double release to be exact. The other book, Prove Me Wrong, is actually not here yet. That was coming up next. But this is exciting. Look at this. Look! This is my name. This is me right here. Which I'm pretty sure is kind of obvious. But anyway, I am here to talk about this book. Now, this one it's really close to my heart because this was actually based on like an actual person. I'm not gonna tell you who that is because it's not a real life person. Obviously, if you've read the book, I'm gonna try not to spoil it at least at the beginning. Like you might get spoiled later on. It might be best if you just like if you don't want to be spoiled later on to just like read it and then come back to the rest of the video later, which I would not be mad about. Like, let me know. I would love to know how you actually feel about it because I feel like I'm not exactly getting as many reviews as I could. Because I'm noticing people are reading it because I have been, watching like the pages read and that kind of stuff. But the reviews have not been as quick or as forthcoming as I assumed they would be, I guess. But basically, this is a story about an author, not based on me. Just thought, some books need to be about authors because I haven't seen a lot of them, and I feel like it's the problem. We should fix that. And an R&B singer who is world famous, very rich, and also very much alone, at least for the most of the part. He's got family, he's got his security as friends, but that doesn't really count. Basically, this is a story about two people who happen to meet based off of a third party that has very little to do with their actual romance, but it's also like I wanted to create a female main character that was like a book nerd that we could all relate to, like a book nerd who collected novels, even different versions of the same ones, and stacked books on every surface possible, and gets the literary jokes that everybody else gets. And there's a few in the book too. But they all have titles and everything like associated. So if you don't understand the reference, you can, just go find it. But basically, there's some humor involved. I didn't want it to be funny. That part is actually very interesting. I didn't want this book to be funny. I wanted it to be sweet and romantic and everything. But I did not want it to be funny. But then I also realized that the way they met was funny. I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid to put humor in the beginning of the book and not put it in the rest of the book. That doesn't really make much sense. So there's humor throughout it with the literary jokes and the book jokes, and there's also there's some friends supporting characters that I feel like that add humor as well. But the main character's name is Nicole. She's an author, nothing huge. She's not on, New York Times bestseller list or anything. She's basically got a very loyal following. And she writes tragic romances that don't necessarily have happy endings. And she does that because of what she's been through. Like, she doesn't really believe love has a happy ending. She feels like it's more realistic to write about the real life part of love. So she writes love from a sadder point of view, because that's what she's experienced in her own life. And Zion, who is the male main character, who is the R&B singer, he's lost his inspiration, and he has basically been coasting through his fame and success, writing songs that are easy and creating albums that aren't really challenging. And basically, he is tired and he doesn't understand what to do about it. He doesn't understand how he's supposed to fix this problem or what he's supposed to do to fix it in the first place, or whether the problem is actually an actual problem or if it's just him going through things and being dramatic about it. So basically, they meet in an unlikely way, which I think is actually quite funny. And I laughed at myself for writing it that way, but that's literally like I couldn't think of any other way to do it, and I kind of wanted that to be how they met. So, how they met, how they meet initially. It's not exactly a meet cute. I don't want to say because it's not exactly cute. It's just very, very strange, but very funny, and it is cute, kind of, if you look at it from like a unique perspective. But basically, she doesn't want to date him for obvious reasons, fame, and she's kind of used to her nice little comfortable apartment where she writes her books by herself and doesn't have to worry about dealing with people or notoriety or anything like that. And so they start out as friends, and then Zion does something that makes her not even want to be friends with him at this point, after she's already admitted to herself that she's feeling something more. And then Zion comes up with a proposition to keep her in her life that he can hire her because she criticizes his lyrics, and she says, well, basically, I could do better than my sleep. So he's like, all right, well, show me. And she does. And she writes lyrics for his songs. She helps him write a new EP instead of another album. And, in the midst of all this, they get closer together, and then lines get blurred, and he eventually, does make up for what he did. And she has to come to grips with the fact that she does not want to be famous, but protecting her life the way that it is means losing Zion, and she's not willing to do that. So she has to figure out how to accept his fame and his notoriety without holding back and pulling back to protect her own interests. And then, she also ends up going on her own book tour eventually because his fame does sort of rub off on her, and his influence in her life rubs off on how she writes her books. So she ends up, writing novels a little bit differently, and then she gets more success that way. And by the end of the book, she comes to terms with the fact that she is not going to be the next Black Margaret Atwood, and that she is going to have to accept that. And that not accepting it means living life without Zion, which she is not willing to do. So this book, the Kindle version, I think it says there's about 400 pages. And I, switched up spacing a little bit to make this one, I think, about 330 pages. So it's a full-length novel, which I'm sure you can probably tell. You can probably tell all of that. And these, if you do want a hard copy, these are available on BarnesandNoble.com. And they also will be available on Amazon eventually, hopefully. We'll get to that. But basically, this is just a really, really sweet, but also unique romance in the sense that it's not just about them coming together and being in love. It's about her growing and learning and changing and figuring out how to be in an adult relationship because she never had that before. She's about 20, I want to say she's about 26 in the book. She's about 26 in the book. And Zion's about 20, but I want to say he's about 30, or he's close to 30. Yeah, he's close to 30. I'm pretty sure it's in the book, and I just forgot I wrote it. It's probably what happened. Probably, I probably wrote down their ages in chapter 2 or something and don't even remember writing it. Yeah. Well, it is. It is what it is. I really want reviews on this. I really want somebody to tell me how they feel about the book, because so far the reviews have been great, and I'm actually really excited about that because I wasn't sure. I was not sure how this was going to go. But this is the sugar part to this, the Sugar and Spice double release. The Spice is the other book, Prove Me Wrong. And the fact that that's why there's donuts on the pages. Also why there's donut on the back. You'll get that in the story. There's a reason why. Which I also think adds comedy as well. But that's a whole nother story. Again, I'm not gonna no spoilers. No spoilers. But if you do get a chance to read it, I would love to know what you think. Leave a review, let me know. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter more than I am anything else, just because it's easier to use. and you don't have to participate to be there. Like I'll be on Twitter lurking for hours and have maybe one tweet. but let me know. This channel will hopefully have a lot more videos like this in the future. What I'm going to try to do is I want to upload videos about not only the books that I write, but the books that I read. I'm thinking maybe like some sort of booktube adjacent type channel. We're thinking here. Not entirely sure how I'm going to pull it off, but I know me enough to know that I read too often. I have way too many opinions that I'll literally share with myself in a room when nobody else is there to not share them for camera. So, that's pretty much it. Yeah, outro should be coming in about 3, 2,